At just 16, Ploy is one of the founding members of the pro-democracy movement. Her first campaign was in high school, where she objected to a rule requiring students to keep their hair short. The rule reflects the influence of decades of military dictatorship and is still enforced. Ploy has since taken her campaign to the streets.
People think that we're being aggressive, but the teachers who punish us by cutting our hair and beating us are also being aggressive, aren't they? Because of my protests, the teachers have stopped abusing me.
Ploy is part of a group called Bad Students, high school activists who want to end Thailand's social and political conservatism.
I'm not scared. The police arrest university students rather than us, as we're younger.
She's not the only young demonstrator. One of Ploy's friends, who's 14 years old, has joined the movement, even though it's critical of the army in which his own father serves.
My parents are public servants. They think that the economy is good and education is good. They don't understand some of the things we're protesting against. I'm scared about putting my parents in danger, but my convictions are stronger than my fear.
Every weekend since the summer, thousands have defied police and demanded the Prime Minister's resignation. High school and university students, mainly from comfortable backgrounds, started the protests, but they've been joined by ordinary people. They include Damri, a motorbike taxi driver who's been driving passengers around the streets of Bangkok for nearly 40 years. He isn't afraid to display his convictions, even at work.
Every day when this street vendor has run out of grilled marinated pork, I take her and her cart back to her home. That's my routine.
I'm interested in his political opinions, but I don't agree with everything he says.
Damri, who earns about €300 a month, symbolises the wide gap between rich and poor in Thailand. He was part of the Red Shirt movement in 2010, when for 2 months, people from poor rural regions joined political activists to occupy Bangkok. But a decade on, inequality has worsened. Between 2015 and 2018, the number of Thais living below the poverty line rose by 2 million, according to the World Bank.
I live in a one-room apartment. It's 3 meters by 2.5 meters, a total of 7.5 meters squared. 3 of us live there. The poor live in slums, and you can see the skyscrapers built for rich people.
Damri wants Thailand to introduce a proper social security system. He says only a real democracy can bring about far-reaching economic and social change.
We are fighting against the dictatorship so that all people are treated equally.
The protesters also want equality for minorities. Anjali, a drag queen, is involved in the pro-democracy movement. She has to juggle working late at night with protesting in the evening.
And I don't have graduation, I don't have education, and all I can do is dancing.
Anjali says Thai society is reasonably tolerant towards sexual minorities, but the laws have yet to catch up. Among her demands is the right for LGBT people to marry.
Welcome to the Stranger Bar, everything, everyone, and everybody. We have a show at 9.
Backstage, Anjali touches on the movement's decision to confront the country's biggest taboo and question the king's powers for the first time.
No matter where you are, no matter how far.
I am surprised that the new generation was like need to reform the monarchy. They don't want to change. They just want to reform. It's illegal here to speak about monarchy. So it's like it's just strict, too much. We support to be open more about it, to be able to talk about it.
On the street, A royalist interrupts the protest, carrying a portrait of the current king's late father, who was revered in Thailand. A few minutes later, Ploy, the high school student, takes the stage.
สวัสดีค่ะ สวัสดีพี่น้องประชาชนพี่ๆทุกท่านนะคะ คิดถึงนักเรียนเลวกันไหมคะจะเห็นว่าช่วงนี้เนี่ยนักเรียนเลวหายไปนานมากๆเพราะว่ามันเป็นช่วงสอบของพวกเราแต่ว่า
Ploy is playing an active role in the movement and hopes to have a career in politics.
You spoke very well. I was so nervous, I forgot everything.
These are the biggest demands for social and political change Thailand has seen since the 2014 military coup. No one knows how the movement will shape the future, but it is already making history.